Hollywood is milking franchises and IPs better than a hungry calf. Alien is one eager, fat, and healthy cow just ready enough to give as much milk as you could want. However, they managed to squeeze out just vile liquid yuck. As a movie buff and a milk expert, I would prefer to have a movie to be excited for. For a movie to be excited to go to the cinema for. Movie watchers stop going to the cinema because they can watch almost everything at home. Plus, we have to choose what to watch carefully because it's expensive. For a time, this demoralized investors from investing into risky productions, so we keep getting the same formulaic movie with known IPs. Personally, I prefer the auteur approach to movie making with directors like Tarantino and Hayao Miyazaki who know what they want and how to make that exact thing happen. They take the craft seriously and they know how to make people believe in their vision. However, pretty soon I think there will come a time when movie makers and moviegoers reunite happily at an optimal point. So keep doing what you are doing because life is too short to watch bad movies. Speaking of bad movies, let's look at a movie that is a continuation of a giant, successful franchise, Alien Romulus. I went into the movie with zero expectations, as one does these days, and this surprised me. The beginning felt quite nice, made a good job of establishing an amazing sci-fi feeling society which was completely ignored for the rest of the movie. It was set on a different planet, very industrial, mining society. The potential for stories was endless. And my frame of reference, which I could hold it up against, is Prometheus, so nothing too spectacular. But the beginning hooked me quite well, so the expectations went up and I began to be excited. Big mistake, huge, because then they got squashed like a waffle that you made into a pancake. As the story continued, it failed to deliver upon the promise from the beginning, and it also failed to set up stakes and any sympathy for the characters. There was no emotion for me when anybody died, or the ones that stayed alive, we couldn't care less, because the world they set up is not dependent on this alien side quest mission. The dialogue was pretty much uninteresting, unintelligible at times, and annoyingly, undeservedly emotional, let's say hysterical. Another thing I have a problem with is the movie is just too dark. Is that a conscious choice to hide bad practical effects, or is that a passive-aggressive push to buy a new TV? I couldn't see shit most of the time. It's definitely a move so that we cannot see the details of their work, but why then would they go through the effort of making all practical effects? Which is amazing. Yes, there were a lot of practical effects which worked very nicely when we could see them. If we could see them, I would be glad. But most of the time, I couldn't see anything. It was too dark. However, when the alien was on screen, it never made me feel like it was particularly powerful. Like in the first Alien movie, I was super scared of him. When numbers are the threat, it diminishes the singular fear factor of seeing one behind our Mary Sue character numero uno. I love the old Aliens movies. They were amazingly scary with extremely high stakes and seemingly all-powerful villain. This one felt like a cheap, cheesy monster horror movie. And I actually played just a small part of the Alien Isolation game, and I would rather play that or the old movies over and over than get a new plate of shiny slob like this. The plot was rather uninspired, typical Alien scenario. So let's get into some spoilers. The story focuses on a group of young people and an android who are trying to run away from the mining colony to an idolized planet Ivaga 3. They use a ship called Corbel 4 to reach an old space station called Renaissance. This ship has two parts, Romulus and Remus, named after the old Roman story about twins who were raised by wolves and then one of them founded the city of Rome. The group soon discovers upon arrival to the space station that the station will crash into the planet they just escaped. Their friendly android Andy grants the others a way into the Remus module and finds out that he will not be welcomed at their new intended home planet because he is an android. They try to bypass this by reprogramming him with a software found in the ship from a different android called Rook. He is on the ship since the start of the mission, half melted by now, and his priority is to keep the cocoon safe. But in the cocoon, we find out resided the xenomorph from the Nostromo ship, the one that Ripley and the crew managed to fight. And he gets brainwashed by this new programming. To deliver the alien to them. At least it demonstrates the point of how dangerous it is to stick random software into your androids. The group decides to escape from this situation, but when they find a bunch of frozen baby xenomorphs, one of the girls gets the facehugger chest buster treatment and their ship crashes into the Romulus module. The xenomorph developed extremely quickly and the group tries to fight him off, quite unsuccessfully. A panic ensues. Characters are acting as if in a typical B-horror movie, not like in a sci-fi movie, which I think is illogical and makes for a worse alien movie. It speaks to the fact that the director Fede Alvarez is a horror movie director, which was clearly reflected. It's such a tongue twister. Which was clearly reflected in the way the story unfolded. We find out one of the girls was pregnant, and even though the father is unknown, somehow that should interest us. In the end, while making a sort of a escape on the borrowed ship, the pregnant girl gives herself an upgrade of a non-Newtonian fluid, Z01, an alternative DNA evolutionary test drug, which makes her baby grow up extremely fast and burst out of her birthing canal very quickly. Then, the offspring, which is what they call it, turns into a demon who rapes her and tries to get the main heroine as well. And luckily for her, she escapes. By what grace, I have no clue. If this were an old alien movie, the things she did wouldn't have really sufficed to run away from the most dangerous monster baby maybe ever. I think the offspring part was rather weird, but that's why I remember it very clearly. Not because of the SA, but because of the WTF feeling it made me feel. So that is a plus in my book. It definitely felt like an alien doujinshi, and I haven't researched that far, but it probably could have been taken from a horny fanfic. The main heroine runs and she has obviously an aimbotted gun which nukes aliens. Since they are in 0G at that time, the acid/alien blood which flows out of the gunshot wounds is not even an issue somehow. Her and the android Andy manage to get away and then enter cryostasis as they are leaving all the others' corpses behind. This plot was missing something. I simplified it quite a bit, but I think it sounds better as a pitch than while watching the movie. I believe it was a problem to pay attention during the whole movie, but rewatching it, I don't think I slept through anything that important, which is quite an issue. Things just happened to the main character and she did only react to actions, which didn't make much difference in the final story. They didn't have to be in this universe at all. In fact, I think we would have been better for it if this part of the story stayed hidden and mysterious for a long, long time. The stories we would like to hear are those which show how the characters develop to fight aliens, to live within a universe which already understands them. But then, what would be of these characters who never really deserved this story? And here we come to the skinning of the Alien franchise. If you'd like to see a Doctor Who fanfic without the Doctor and with some alien corn, you will enjoy Alien Romulus. The ending didn't move the plot further. We did not get a further look into the universe. It felt like a monster movie from a dead franchise. Alien might be finally dead. With more bad films than good films, it seems nobody can resurrect it. But I will be gladly waiting here for another one to try. This universe is fascinating and there is nothing like it. Have you seen this movie? What's your favorite alien creation? Let me know in the comments and I will see you next time for another movie review. Bye! Mwah!